stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say Hawaii's special in that way. I've talked to mainlanders, since I've been back, man, and they're like, what's your plan? I'm like, I'm going to die in Hawaii. That's, I mean, the goal is to get back there and to be able to, retire with my wife comfortably. Um, and they're like, a lot of people, are just like this and that, and they didn't really like it or what. First of all, I don't understand them, but then it's. I think a lot of people are caught up in a lot of stuff that a lot of Hawaiians aren't. You know what I mean? Something that us Holly's got to learn. So,
Yeah.
um, Holly
We're
is,
busy surfing.
yeah,
We're
exactly.
busy surfing and gardening and making music.
There you go.
You there?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, sorry, I had a little issue. Yeah, no, busy surfing and golfing. Well, and man, it's love. I've found you can be rich with so much less. Some of my most favorite times in my whole life at this point, and I may not even have known, were jungle parties, man. Acoustic guitars and bongo drums, and you know what I
You're
mean?
welcome.
Jungle
You
parties.
remember that?
Yeah,
That was a rage
yeah.
up. That was
Oh, man,
crazy.
yeah, but that was life. You know what I mean? In Haleakala, when I went up there a couple times, but yeah, you know what I mean. We went west side because you were cool and let me. You're like, I'll take you west side. But anyway,
Yeah, the West Side. That reminds me of Lion King when he's like, "That's the dark side. Do
that's
not go there." Yeah,
that's
it's like that's why we're standing at the mountain at Diamond Head. You see that side? That's the Waianae side. That's the West side. You don't go there if you're white.
that's that's where the MMA fighters come from.
Yeah.
Those dudes that make millions of dollars beating the crap out of other dudes. They come from right there. So you let them have their space, bro. So, but anyway, yeah, that was. Uh, so those were some of my funnest times, and I didn't feel like I had, maybe I had less stuff, but I felt happier. I gotta say that, and I think that that's a lot of people. Really, their stuff is a bigger deal to them. The good thing about growing up so poor, man, is you don't have it, you don't miss it. That's the blessing of it. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay, so
We
man, you loved
definitely grew up
Hawaii.
poor.
When did you know you were going to travel? When did you know that you were different? Like, let's be honest. You know what I mean. Most folks at our age have a couple kids. They have a job they've been at for 10 years or more. You know what I mean, and that kind of thing. You are a
Yeah,
world traveling
100%.
musician, business incubator, that kind of thing. We will absolutely get to that in a second. But when did you know you were different? What came to you and was like? You said you were touring at 18, right? And you picked up the guitar at
Yeah,
16 or really got into music
that
at
tour.
16. When did
I
you know, okay, my path is not going the way other folks' path is?
It was after that tour. Like it was like riches to rags. Like so, I did grow up really poor. And going on that tour, they put me in the highest hotel room above all my band and put us in a 5-star hotel, fucking amazing lobby, like gold everywhere kind of thing. And just coming back home, I was like, I was like, frick, that's possible. Like I saw that, I lived it. Like I'm gonna learn how I can set that up for my life, and I figured it out pretty much. And I just did it. I just kept going with it, and now I'm like at the part where I want to help others and teach people how to set up these type of things, like recurring revenue. Like what is that? What does that even mean? A lot of people
Residual income.
recurring revenue. You mean I just sell it one time and then keep making money? It's like
Royalty,
yeah, yeah,
yes, yeah,
yeah, yeah. You
exactly.
don't have to like the old ways. Yeah, we make an event, we sell one ticket, and then we're like fucked. We're fucked till the next event.
Let's get J Rod to spot us 200 for some flyers, bro. Shout out to J
Yeah.
Rod wherever he is in the world, man. So yeah,
Oh, he's
that
on.
was.
He's watching. Are we
I don't
live
know
on
if he's
Facebook?
watching
What
right
are
now.
we
He
live
said shout
on?
out if he was. Yeah, we are Facebook Live, which I will say.
Oh, oops.
There are a couple of Indigo folks, and I'm sure James will watch this. We'll re-upload it. I think I might have messed up the audio, and a big chunk of it was on mute. So we'll see when we're done
Oh,
and I download it. So yeah, I think I messed up a little bit,
we'll
but we'll
see.
see. So no
Sound
worries. So
good.
we're
Sound good.
we're not on mute now for sure. It's picking up. So just learning how to produce with this new software and stuff like that. So
That's
uh,
cool. Yeah.
deciding how to dial it all in just right. No big deal there. Um, okay,
This is
so
what it takes.
you went on that tour and you were like, okay, this is the life I want to lead. I'm going to go in a different direction than a lot of folks. Um,
Yeah.
from there, how long from there did you hook up with TJ and start pushovers? What was the time frame? How long was that?
Uh, I met him when I was 18. Or yeah, I was 18. Yeah. Or actually, no, I met him before 18. Then I met him again at 18. So we must have met like 17 or something when I was just learning guitar.
Cool, cool.
And I didn't know how to sing at that time yet. I was still learning how to sing, like how to figure out the singing part. So I think when I bumped into TJ when I was younger, I heard him sing and I was like, holy shit.
That lion's
I got
roar.
a lot of practice to do.
Yeah.
I have a lot of practice. I thought it was simple. I was like, oh yeah, no, anyone can just sing.
Right. That's
Oh, then you
funny.
hear TJ sing. It's like, no, whoa. It actually, like, you hear singers, but they're not doing it right all the time. That's why I thought, no, it's just like how everyone else sings. There's no need to be that good. And then all of a sudden, yeah, I met TJ. I was like, what in the hell is that coming out of a human? I was like, so since then, I just trained and tried and practiced harder and pushed myself. So TJ was a big inspiration for the abilities, the power within the abilities. So
Absolutely. Is that was it with TJ you got interested in beatbox, or what influenced you or motivated you to get interested in beatbox?
no, this guy named Mikey Mike. I don't know if you ever heard of him. He was Hawaii's #1 beatboxer at one time.
Yeah, I know the name. Yeah.
Yeah, when I was homeless, I would just kind of cruise around Waikiki sometimes, and I would see him perform. And then, yeah, we just became friends. So I would just listen to him jam, and then we just became friends, and that's it. And then I would just try. So when I was younger, my cousin would actually tell me, try to beatbox to this or make beats to this, right? And I couldn't do it until I met Mikey Mike. Then he taught me how to piece it together one by one, how to make it sound like a piece.
That's so cool. See,
I don't do a lot of I beatbox, but it is technical when I use instruments because it's like two items happening at once with multiple sounds. But when I'm just beatboxing without any instruments, I'm not very technical about it. I'm more like to keep the rhythm. I need a melody with my beatbox, not just I just sit here and just beatbox for you and keep you pumping with just only the beatbox. Yeah.
for sure.
So that's why I incorporated instruments so that it could make the performance more full. And that was just through experience of doing beatboxing first, trying it, seeing the reactions of the audience, and then being like, "Okay, what do I need to do to improve this performance?" That's how. And I was like, "Oh, I got to match TJ's power." So imagine power beatboxing. Like that's what you were hearing when you were coming to the show. That's why it's different live than when you hear it through a speaker. Because the speaker, you can do any kind of radio and all this stuff, but when it's live, we're actually like pumping bass sounds that you can't even hear through phones or through, unless you get a car, like, you get a super sound system. But when we're live, we have our sound system, and all you have to do is just like be right there, like feeling the bass.
Well, and working the mic, as a comedian, you learn. I mean,
Yeah.
the microphone is. I call, I have my one SM58 that I've had, that I went to Japan with, that I had in Hawaii, that has come back and I'm toured with here, and I call it Excalibur. You know what I mean? Some of the most famous people, some of the best comedians, you've used that mic. You know what I mean? It is a special microphone to me, and that's learning how to use the mic. It's its own tool. It really is, and learning how to use a mic right, especially I would think as a beatboxer. I know as a comic
For sure,
and vocalist is,
100%.
yeah, man. And you said a couple things I wanted to back up and hit on, man. One,
Yeah.
just the story is beautiful. This is Hawaii, folks. This is why you want to go, because he's like, yeah, man, I was homeless on the beach, and there was this Obi-Wan Kenobi dude. I feel like he's sitting there, you know what I mean, in like yoga pose. It's like boom, boom, and you're like, I must go, and you become this Padawan beatbox learner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you're out there, and then we see you and you win awards because you're just that good at it. But that's the magical thing about Hawaii. Stuff like that really does happen all the time. Which is why I love it. And then you said you were homeless. You don't have to go too deep into it, as deep as you want, but
Oh,
touch
it's
on that
all
for a
good. I don't
second.
care. I
We
really don't care.
we are
It's beyond
actively
already.
involved, working with homeless folks here and there. Definitely my
Nice.
family is very involved. And, the one message I try to get out to folks is that, I hate that they almost categorize like it's a different group of people. No, this is us. This is one of us that
Yeah,
just
we're
doesn't have
yeah.
electricity and a roof. These are human beings, and you're a great, lovely, wonderful human. And just because you were homeless doesn't make you bad. It didn't make you a bad person then. It doesn't make you a bad person now. And I just
Whoa.
want people to understand to maybe be a little more kind to homeless folks. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So,
And
yeah.
also, I hung out with homeless people too, fed them and stuff. And one cool story I heard from a homeless person was, "You guys think we're stressed out? You're the one having to pay bills. You're the one having to, work for your money. Why should we be stressed out? Some homeless people are not stressed at all. That's just they're not homeless. They're houseless because the land is everyone's home.
Right.
And that's a conscious decision they've made.
But it's a
Yeah, yeah,
different climate in Hawaii as well.
It's
yeah,
easier
yeah.
to be homeless in
It's
Hawaii.
easier to be homeless in Hawaii.
It is easier, yeah. But
You
that
come to
that
Oklahoma.
concept I said was from a man under a bridge that I was feeding in Louisiana.
Wow.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was walking through. I did a Comic-Con there, and I was on one of the days off. I just went and walked around the city. I was taking a picture of the graveyards, and I got to a bridge, and I saw a guy there. Started drinking his whiskey with him, and then fed him. And he told me that that's why he told me that story. He was pointing at a driver driving by in their car, and he goes, "Who do you think is more stressed, me or that guy in that car right there who needs to pay for that car, who needs to pay for that house, who got that kid in the back seat?" You see what I'm saying? I was like, "Holy shit!" When you put it that way, dude.
Man, my thought is there's in northern Oklahoma to Arkansas, there is I think it's something like 700 miles of caves, and
Wow.
I've often thought, man, if I ever check out, because caves underground stay roughly 72 degrees year round, so they're naturally insulated,
Like,
and
go
yeah, man, as long as
off
you're
the grid,
temperate.
you go caveman.
So yeah, but just cave it up, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Cave
that's actually a
parties,
good one.
cave doing it. So
Very
I've
far,
often thought
yeah.
we'd have some crazy. You look like a caveman. I'm in.
Yeah. Imagine this neon. Imagine I'm all neon, but this and it coming out of the cave.
That
Oh
would
shit,
be
he's glowing! Hit him, boys!
badass. With your guitar, just crazy. That would be awesome, bro. We have to do
Yeah,
it.
I'm ready.
So
I'm ready for all these video ideas to happen already. Soon,
heck
in a
yeah.
few years, we'll be meeting up and be shooting these video ideas. I like it.
It's the key, man, and it's easy. And man, I'll tell you, I really believe old forms of media are dying. Right now, in Hollywood, all the actors and writers are on strike because mainly of AI. And the situation there is that the studios aren't budging. They're like, we're going to use AI, and as AI
Yeah,
gets better at what it does, they're like,
yeah,
they're like, we're going to use it. And also, movies don't make the money they used to, and people don't watch television the way they used to because they're
yeah,
going to podcasts and
yeah.
honesty, and we're a little more real about everything. So I think that the ideas that like we were talking about that I want to kind of dovetail into right now. Uh, he'll be right back, y'all. That I kind of wanted to dovetail into a little bit right now. Some of your vision, what you want to share with folks right now. I know we're in the early stages of your, basically you have a business incubator, maybe for lack of a better term, that you're working on. And tell us maybe a little bit about that vision.
Oh, right now I'm just setting up private memberships for essential organizations that take care of humanity.
I love
That's
that.
it.
I love that.
Very simple.
Um,
Sorry about that, guys.
and and going all over the world and being the dude you are, what goals do you have? what do you focus on? What gets you out of bed in the morning? What gets you on a plane or a boat and causes you to go thousands of miles away from what is lovely and wonderful Hawaii for you?
Yeah. Seeing the dark truth visually, like in my own body, traveling and putting myself in dangerous places. I seen the truth of why the ghettos suffer, why people suffer about taxes and finances and business, why struggle. I visually seen it and experienced it through different families, and I guess that keeps me up. Like everyone with kids, it's like as if their kid is my kid, and I'm like the future is your kids, and I'm like you guys aren't even preparing for it. Like they're preparing in their own way, but they got Uncle Donovan in the background, traveling the world, doing this global thing that's gonna try to, I guess, I don't know, like help with the dark times. So if their kids ever struggle, they'll be like, "Hey, you know me, it's okay, bro. Bring your kid here," like or something. If any, I want to be able to just support large communities, and uh, I stay private on purpose because of
The electric
the
on there.
scammers, number of scammers, and then exposing my network to scammers and scam possibilities.
Absolute, fair enough. Makes a lot of sense there. I love the fact that you are working on helping people. Can you go into some of your focuses there? Like, what should people know? What should people be looking at, looking for? Where do you
Oh, oh,
see
just focus
yourself
on
in the world
yourself.
in 5 years? Yeah.
No, people should be looking at themselves and their network, their own close friends and family around them, and what they want to, what do they want with their happiness? Like, do they want more happiness in their family and close friends, and then thrive for that? Thrive to make each other happier. Be happy yourself, and then help each other be happier.
What do you think
Because
about?
with the whole AI technology, sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, what do you think about mini communities and basically self-sustaining communities, growing your own food, trading with the
Yeah,
community next to you.
yeah.
Maybe they do, dairy and you do grain, and then there's community,
Yeah.
and
Cows or
and the men all get together and go hunt or, that kind of thing. Yeah. So,
That's how Hawaiians used to be.
I know, well, and, all of us really, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's
You could
beautiful.
only
And the
trade in
fishing.
Hawaii. In the past, you could only trade through the different, like when you, so the rivers divide the island.
Mhm.
So there's one stream. Sorry. So there's a stream here. That's one district. The next stream is the next district. So if you want to go past them, you have to give them an offering to pass, or give an offering to go pick their berries. Or
Oh, no, that's something I loved about Hawaii that I think a lot of Americans are not cool to, man, and that's loving the land. You know what I mean? Leave a little bit
yeah,
for the land. You know what I mean? If you're blessed and you find some good coconuts, you don't take all the coconuts in the hoard. You take what you need, knowing that that land is there to bless others as well, and you give
yeah,
back. You know what I mean? You plant trees when you can. You try to keep it nice. So. That connection to the land is beautiful, and I don't think we have it the way we should here, for sure. So, it helps you respect, the Aina, and
yeah.
where what it is and where it's from, and it's beautiful. And I think one cool thing also about Hawaii, man, is that it's limited land. You understand it. You see the ocean from all sides. You know what I mean? You
Mm.
understand this is all we got, and we're here together. And I know a lot of people forget that, a lot of times. But at the end of the day, there's this beautiful thing of, okay, well, we're all in this together, and it's easy. I know you spend a lot of time, basically in all the United States, but in some wide expanses, Midwest, the South. and you see that it's a little different. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I don't like
Yeah.
this. The land stretches forever. I can get away. I can run and run and run. You know? So,
And every city you'd be like driving for 6 hours, and all of a sudden you're in another city that's not like the last city. It's like, what just happened? Did
what?
I teleported somehow? In Hawaii, you just keep going circle, 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 circle.
So here's a question: how are people around the world different from each other? What differences do you really see? Say from
Oh,
Japan
wow.
to the South
Wow.
to Hawaii to Iceland to Alaska. How do you what
Yeah,
differences do you see?
you can definitely see differences. Uh, one is the amount of buildings they got.
True.
So once that affects the population, affects their attitude in a way, and what they're doing with their days and lives. The majority of them.
And so you mean
So
people
like,
all over, like people in the city, that affects them different than people in the country, say, or
yeah, yeah, yeah. Or countries that are like countries. Imagine that, like Japan and Iceland, totally different uh, dynamics. Iceland is round, and Japan has two different seasons. Like in Japan and Korea, I've actually been on a train where I was in the felt like summer heat. I'd go on a train, go north, and then I would end up in a freaking Narnia blizzard. I'm like, what is going on?
in Korea and Japan?
In Korea and Japan, yeah,
Yeah,
that
ain't
both
the
happened to
snow.
me.
Wow.
Yeah,
And I'm
ain't the
like,
snow
what
there.
the hell? This snow blizzards is nuts. Like, you just cross a mountain, then all of a sudden it's like that. So
Yeah,
in Iceland, it's just cold everywhere.
All the time, that's what they call it, Iceland.
Yeah.
That's,
They have summer though. They have summer. You ever watch Mighty Ducks when they're like, Iceland is green and Greenland is ice?
yeah.
Yeah, that's a real story from the Viking times.
Yeah, no, I'm a bit of a Viking nerd. In the Netflix has a really cool series about the Viking games, or the like the caber toss and all of that stuff. And I know it mainly happens in the UK now, but that culture is cool to me. So I dig studying, and I know you lived it, which is so cool too.
Oh
And then my
yeah, I
next
saw
question is
whale bones.
whalebones. And that's we use them for everything.
I checked their ancient villages out, man. I had to see what the Vikings were doing.
So
They're
that's another
smart.
cool
They're the
thing,
ones who
man.
found America.
Yeah, that's true. The first ones, yeah. Um,
Leash.
you're one of the few people that you've seen whales in both oceans, then, huh? You've seen
I've
whales
seen, yeah,
so
I've seen
clearly off Hawaii.
on
Where
all the
we've got whales,
oceans. I've seen them on all oceans. I've been to all the oceans.
and you've seen whales. That is so cool, man. I love whales, man. That's one of my favorite personal stories. Was being on a little 24-foot boat, sailboat called the Inca Hooch. Just a little harbor cruiser, and we went
Yeah.
pretty far out just to get close to the whales. And I had to jump in the water and swim with one. It's scary as hell because they're so big, and all he has to do is open his mouth, and you're sucked in, and you're gone. Um, but they were so peaceful and cool, and I swear they knew you were there, and they understood, and very peaceful creatures, man. And when I got in the water and I jumped in, and my buddy at the time was like, "Don't get in the water." I'm like, "I have to." I will regret this the rest of my life. I can say I swam with whales, dude. I have to. And man, it was a beautiful experience, and I'm glad I did. And
Yeah.
but once
You're
again, that's
crazy. I
part of
would
that
never
spirit
do
of
that.
aloha. You wouldn't? That's
That's scary as shit.
that's that
I'm
white boy.
Hawaiian, but fuck
I
that.
know.
I like safety. That's how I live long time.
yeah. Not jumping in the water with the whales.
Yeah. How much safety gear did you have on? Did you consider the current?
Yeah, no.
I'm sure,
Bro, you
I'm
jump
sure
in
there
that
were
water,
sharks
current
out
takes
there
you,
too.
gone.
Bro, my board shorts were good board shorts, okay? They were like really good. They weren't Walmart board shorts. They were like Target board shorts. I mean, I was killing it, bro. I was fine. It was,
I
so,
think I
and
would only
then,
do it under very safe conditions, like jump in with whales or sharks. Like I'm really into safety for sure. Like I know it sounds nerdy, but I did a lot of things where like I saw people just get fucked up, like lose hands,
yeah, no, yeah.
lose fingers. Like I, oh god, this is like my eyes seen it, so I'm like, oh, oh.
What? So, and then my next question is, being traveling around the world, how are people the same? what unites us all as a human race, would you say? What are some of the things, a couple of the
Ooh.
things?
Oh, the caringness of each other, like caring for, even if you're good or bad, you always care for your boys. You always care for your family or your homies. Get some guys I know they freaking rob people, beat up strangers, but then when you get them with their homies, they're the ones cooking for them, feeding their homies. All their homies coming to that person, but for some reason that person just doesn't like strangers, you know.
Right. They got their own
So
circle.
that's unique. Yeah, like I see the toughest guys just when they get into a private environment, just become the most cheerful and loving, caring family member. And yeah, that's pretty cool.
Heck yeah, man. Um, yeah, and family, is it, do people raise their children similarly, say in like Japan as they do in America or Iceland?
No,
No, they don't. See, I'm
no,
just wondering. Like,
hell
this is stuff.
no.
No, very different.
Major, bro. Like Iceland, the kids are like witnessing slaughters when they're babies. All like nothing. Like in their first memories, there's mostly a slaughter in their memory.
Of like a cow
Unless
or
unless their parents were rich, like unless their parents had a lot of money, like more money than the average, you're mostly seeing a slaughter in your first memories.
well, like we did in the 1800s and early
I mean,
1900s. Yeah.
back in,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
from
But in
Nacogdoches.
Japan, they're not doing that to their most of their
They slaughter
society.
stuff.
Like,
I mean,
Yeah, where I'm at in Oklahoma. I mean, we live, I don't know, about 30 miles from Brahms dairy stores. It's a very popular dairy thing, and it's in total Oklahoma. And yeah, man, what's cool is if you are going to eat a hamburger from the fast food place, knowing that that cow was, born and raised 30 minutes from you, so it's probably better than meat that's been shipped from,
yeah,
who knows where. But yeah, man, that's I grew up around farms a little bit, being in Oklahoma, as a young man, and yeah, that's part of the thing. But Japan is more city, you would say, right? Isn't Japan more overall city? Like they just live more
yeah,
of a city
yeah,
life as the people do
yeah. The
there,
more north you get, the more country it gets. Yeah, but
right?
there's like lots of land in certain areas, rural. There's rural Japan, and then there's like Tokyo and then Roppongi and other crazy cities. Like, it's
And
it's beautiful out there. That's all I gotta say. It's for each city has their own thing too. Like one is like a party city, one's the capital, one is for light shows, one is for dances, one is it's like one is for race cars. Like dude, yeah, it's
like in each
crazy.
city.
Yeah, one is for anime. They have an anime city. They have a samurai city. They have
So like if you're really into race cars, you can move to that city and
you can go
work
to yeah
on race
yeah.
cars or something.
I think it's right outside of Tokyo, that one.
I mean, I
And
want
then
to go
there's
to
the
Japan.
anime city. That's the one I haven't been there yet, but I want to go there. That
Yeah, I know
place is
Tokyo is big and busy. When I was there for like 2 days, and it was Tokyo and out. You know what I mean? So, and I was pretty fried at the time because the travel. So, but yeah, no, man. I find Japan fascinating, and I love the Iceland stuff. I think we need that, man. I think everybody should at least have to understand where food comes from. What it takes, the cost of getting meat on your plate, the
yeah,
cost of
yeah. Not the
getting.
price cost, not
Yeah,
the price
no,
cost. The actual life cost. Like
yeah.
yeah, it's pretty intense. I guess I saw a lot of slaughter. One time, this slaughterhouse was like, oh yeah, you can come watch us slaughter this whole. I slaughtered myself. Like I slaughtered a few myself, but I
Cows.
this one was like a this is like the real slaughterhouse, and they let me watch the whole process of the shot to the head to the
So
whole
that's how they did it.
process. Like,
Is that how
hang
they
them
did
by
it?
the foot, decapitate them, drain them, like all of that. So saw they get big saws, like
Yeah.
the ways I would do it was all knife. We would disassemble by knife only because we never
Ooh,
have big machines. Yeah,
that's
all by
that's
hand.
work. Wow.
I thought, dude, the first time you separate skin from muscle, oh yeah, that's an experience.
I've done that with deer. I've done that with a deer. So
Yeah, so you just punched right through the skin and just. I was like, as I was doing it, I was like, oh, I'm a pussy. Why am I hurting? I
no, it
thought I was on
hurts.
fire, but it's actually the animal's body temperature. 'Cause the animal's body temperature, 'cause the animal's body temperature is like 100 degrees. 'Cause the animal's body temperature is like 100 degrees. 'Cause the animal's body temperature is like 100 degrees. 'Cause the animal's body temperature is like 100 degrees. 'Cause the animal's body temperature is like 100 degrees. 'Cause the animal's body temperature is like 100 degrees. 'Cause the animal's body temperature is like 100 degrees. 'Cause the animal's body temperature is like 100 degrees. 'Cause the animal's body temperature is like 100 degrees. 'Cause the animal's body temperature is like 100 degrees. 'Cause the animal's body temperature is like 100 degrees. 'Cause the animal's body temperature is like 100 degrees. 'Cause the animal's body temperature is like 100 degrees. 'Cause the animal's body tempera makes it feel like you're getting blisters and you're burning, but it's just their body temperature. I was like, oh, I'm just a pussy for real.
I would especially think Iceland too. The temperature difference was crazy. So yeah, man,
Oh yeah.
that would be nuts. I don't know. Like, I'm jealous of your beard. I wish I could hold one. I hate being hot though. You know what I mean? It's like hot that beard, bro.
You
You're,
gotta put it in. It's hot right now with my hair down. I usually have it up, but I'm like, let's put it down for today.
put it down.
For this talk, after this talk is going back up.
Right back up. Fair enough. Because you're beautiful right now, and that's the most important part, man. You're gorgeous. So,
Oh, stop it.
how about where do you see yourself in 5 years?
uh, then I'll be on my way towards making films.
Is that your kind of your ultimate goal right now as you build is to get to a point where you're like a director, producer,
Yeah,
writer, director,
like
producer,
45.
actor?
Yeah, 45. Just getting producers and actors and writers together to be filming. Like, but I have different techniques instead of doing silver screen style, uh, incorporating social media and stuff like that within it. So it's kind of like a modern cinema, just evolving the techniques.
Sure.
Same thing, but there's a lot of like I don't want to spoil it, so I don't want to go too far into it. But I will tell you privately for sure. But
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
for the
Just
audience, yeah, they just gotta wait till that time.
yeah, like what do you see, taking up the bulk of your days in 5 years? Like, well, I very
Yeah, yeah.
interesting to me
Usually just
because
setting up with that.
that's awesome, man. That's beautiful.
Sorry, what?
I said that's awesome. That's beautiful. I dig that.
And when I'm 55, I want to be transporting special cargo across oceans with security teams in the back, shooting off the back, protecting the cargo,
What if we
with a
lived in a
cigar in my
world?
mouth.
That's fair. What if we lived in a world so great, in 15 years from now that we don't have to like shoot people because people have good lives. We're helping them. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, that's definitely not. That's not gonna happen.
That's not good.
You want a realistic answer? I mean, we can
Yeah,
talk
that's
story. I
not
feel
gonna
like
happen.
I could give you a fake answer.
Yeah, don't give him the.
So, how do you plan on transporting this cargo? Is there an idea?
Ship,
Electricity?
ship,
Ship.
a boat. Yeah, it's like I want to be like 55 with. So like I just graduated, not grad. Like I did a 200-hour course for child protection against sex crimes and human trafficking and abuse and stuff. And that's just my steps towards that later on dream, having being certified in this field.
Have you heard of or seen the movie The Sound of Freedom?
No, I'm actually purposely avoiding it because in my head I'm already full of data. So I feel like watching that is just going to scramble my missions. So I just need to focus right now. Maybe later on in the years I'll watch it, but for now I already know it's happening. There's no point in me watching something I already know. I just gotta take my personal action on getting there. And I don't really,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah,
That's good, man.
I don't really watch movies already.
I will say this.
Not in a bad way. I love movies.
It
I
is a
love acting. I love
masterful.
filming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah, it's just
masterfully
in a
done
different phase right
piece.
now. Later on,
Yeah.
right now, too busy. Too busy
Right.
to
Well,
sit
yeah.
back, relax, and watch a movie. Yeah.
Well, yeah. And as a comedian, I understand a lot of people are like, "Have you seen this guy's special? Have you seen this guy's latest special?" And I'm like, "No." Like, I try not to watch any comedy that has come out this year unless it's, one of the three or four guys I just love, love, love. And I love their art and I want
Yeah.
to see it. But when it comes to just the general, genre of comedy, I don't sit there and just watch stand up comedy because that's going to influence you so much,
Yep.
especially as a
Exactly.
comedian
You
when
see.
all you
Yeah.
have is words. Yeah. And
Yeah.
there's such a premium on originality and not stealing jokes and stuff. And you just don't want to do it. I mean, I was on tour a couple of months ago and, there was a night where I made a joke about moms, single moms or something. And it was literally not in my act, and it was like an offhanded thing I did in between sets or whatever. And I guess 3 or 4 days later, I was watching somebody and they had almost the same joke. It was like, the joke was, if you want to pick up a single mom, all you have to do is read the stuff that they have at Hobby Lobby and the home stores. You know what I mean? Like, live, laugh, yes, and love. You know what I mean? Two become one to bless this home. You know what I mean? Without coffee and cats, what's life about? If you say this stuff to a single mom, she will date you. Yes. So anyway, it was funny, and it was like just a freestyle off the top of my head thing I was doing, and then I forgot who I was watching. I want to say maybe Mark Norman, but he had a joke very similar to that was in his special, and I was like, oh, thank God that was a throwaway one-off, because I would have, been accused of stealing. So I try to not be influenced by that. I actually try to watch a lot of news, current events, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Especially when you're able to, I do some writing for some news sites, or I haven't recently on purpose, but because I want to, be able to make fun of that and see through the smoke screen. You really see, that it's all kind of silly, at the end of the day. So, you got to help folks and just be a good person, right? So, which is what I love about you, man. I don't think you're political at all. I've never had that conversation with you. Do you have a?
I study them though.
Huh?
I study them, but I study them, but I don't talk about them at all. I keep track of what our leaders are doing, so I make sure that I'm aware personally. I feel like every human should be aware of what their leaders are doing. And then you in your own community, like be a leader within your own community.
Right.
Yeah. So like watch your leaders and don't follow them. Do the right thing. Like do the right thing as a leader. Lead better than they can. Like some of these leaders are like, I look at these leaders and I go, I bet most of these leaders cannot even tell you a person's name within any of these cities that they're controlling.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Well,
and I'm like, oh, I'm competing against them because I'm going into these communities, learning these people's names, making friends with them. You know what I mean? Like becoming like brothers and families in these different cultures. So I feel like that's real leadership, where you're in there, like you're in it. not in the background going, yeah, no, you guys, sorry, we're gonna put the money here. No. Like, no. Whatever, dude. Tell me one person's name in that district that you control. Give me, tell me one poor family that you're supporting. Like, just give me one name. Like, a lot of the leaders can't do it. A lot of them.
I agree, and that's on them. But I would say, conversely, on us as the people, is that it is supposed to be our government. And you will see, I'm sure you've seen it online, is that people will go for hours fighting each other on politics, on Trump or Clinton or Biden or Obama, whoever, right? It doesn't matter. And they will go for hours fighting it. But they can't name their mayor. They can't name their local senator. They can't name their governor, even a lot of them.
Oh, that's the worst. Yeah, it's opposite.
They can't name their county commissioner. And all of these people have so much more influence on how you live. You know what I mean? They may not control, they may not control the gas prices, but they do have say over your electric bill, right? Because those are all local. Gas is more of a federal and national thing, I understand. But, how your kids, what they're getting in their schools, as far as what resources are going to them, how the police in your community are trained. Trump doesn't care. Biden doesn't care. No president cares, not because they're bad people necessarily, but because they can't, because that's not their job. And because their job is big enough, even your most favorite, federal big boss ever, they can't, it's not their job to make sure that, the kids in your community have the school books they need. That is definitely a state situation. And people will fight so much over these big name politicians, which is kind of the plan, I think, and not get involved locally in their local school boards and their local city councils. And that has so much more to do. So when we deal with bad leaders, there's a point where we have to go, we're not paying attention, or we're not doing what we need to do to have the right leaders in. And then there's guys like you take it upon yourself. But I'm sure you'd be the first to agree. It's not easy. It's not easy blazing the trail as a community leader. So yeah.
Yeah, communication. That's the number one thing. Like Zach, everyone's busy.
That's the whole thing is communicating.
Yeah, communication, and everyone's busy. Yeah, So it's like finding that time. The best thing I found was just schedule once a week to start. For anyone that you just do once a week. If you cannot uphold once a week, then just do once every other week. Whatever, just start small. And as it progresses, because it's new. So depending on your age. So if you're younger, it's easier to adapt this like to the new ways. But if you're our age, it's taking on a whole, not it's not so like I figured out simplified ways to, make the income. So it's like they don't, the old ways, it took the driving, the setup, the in person, the printing, the freaking sponsor write ups, the actual meetups of the sponsorships, the talk, the agreements,
the big and the
signatures,
businesses to
notarizing, LLCs. Yeah, see, like just like that's exhausting. That's super exhausting. Like just listing that was exhausting. Hearing it is even more exhausting. So to simplify that, that's already nuts. To say like there are systems that exist that can just a few steps. There's not that hard.
It's brilliant.
So, but people won't believe it. Our age won't believe it because most people our age that I know are like they grew up either with the technology or not. If you did grow up with the technology, you know some of the coding like I do. If you didn't, then you just did a lot of work stuff, School, work, 9 to 5.
Think about somebody born in 2020, and this is going to make me sound rather ancient, but think about somebody born in 2020. They've had the internet their whole life. You know what I mean? They AOL is older than that. Remember the CD? Are you old enough to remember the CD? You've got mail.
I was in the realm where my mom had computers when there was DOS, and I was learning DOS. So I understand coding since DOS. Yeah. So I started I just kept up with it, and I wouldn't say I'm a master at it, but I know enough to make my own private websites, and that's where I'm at right now, just creating private websites versus because when you look at social media is, oh, here's my art for free. Here's my thing for free in hopes a lot of people look at this, right? Whereas I just went the opposite. Oh, here's a private thing and only people I know can see.
No, that's
so we reversed it. So
yeah,
but it's all together. It all works differently. Like social media, you would do a lot of free shit, and then 6 months to 3 years, then you get paid, depending on your ability to learn the systems and then apply it. And then with what I had developed is you get paid immediately. So you don't have to wait for social media and do everything for free. You just start getting paid.
Or get your account struck because you say this or say that, and somebody didn't like what you said, and you know what I mean?
Yeah. So since it's all private, you can do anything. You can say fuck shit. You could fucking show him a titty. You could and whatever. Nothing you wouldn't get banned. It's all private. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm in that world of like, yeah, fuck the kids.
Well, and that's one of the most heartbreaking things. I mean, you can't look at some old comedies. You know what I mean? Look at some brilliant old comedies. Look at some old comedy bits. George Carlin, couldn't say the things that he said. Well, I was watching Richard Pryor. I think we were watching Richard Pryor the other night, and there was a bit he was doing, and I was like, he couldn't do that bit. I mean, he was doing this bit, and there were people of all races in the audience laughing, right? And it's like, the problem is, now you'd be considered racist if you laughed at that bit, right? Like, you couldn't laugh. It's like, oh, that bit's not for you. And it's like, that's crazy, and that's silly, and that's, that's meant to divide us, and that's, humor is for everyone. And one of the things that really connects us is the fact that when somebody like you brings your culture to the world, you know what I mean? It makes people love Hawaii that maybe have never been there, and they want to spread aloha, or they understand the aloha spirit. And you don't have to be from Hawaii to understand aloha spirit, but it really helps to meet somebody like you. Right. And to understand the beauty and the creation, and the fact that we are connected to a creator, and we're connected to this land, and that, what surrounds us kind of makes us, and what we take care of takes care of us. And that's beautiful, man. So, yeah, I didn't mean to get off on a rant there. I think I think it's important, that people
Highly important.
understand
Yeah.
that. I love, Andy Boomin. Shout out to James Bonnet and Andy Bumatai. Two local guys that are absolutely hilarious. They are so funny, and
Yeah.
that's the thing about Hawaii comedy and Hawaii comedians is they make fun of everyone. You know what I mean? They make fun of, and the cool thing about Hawaii is you have so many people to make fun of. Because it's such a mixture
Mm.
of folks, and I love that, man. And I think that's beautiful, and that unites us. It helps me know you better, right? And when I talk about my folks, it helps you know us better, and it makes us all laugh. And we're like, oh, we're all kind of silly. Whatever we think we are, at the end of the day, we all got to wipe our bottoms. You know what I mean? We all got to wash under our arms, except for you, maybe. No, I'm kidding. I'm
Oh
kidding.
yeah.
But, at the end of the day, we're all people. We all want better for our children. We all want better for the next generation if we're any kind of decent people. And the majority of us are, and I think that's, the most important thing. And the frustrating thing about where art's going is that it's become so corporatized and it's become so owned. And there are
I'm not
gatekeepers
sure
on
I
gatekeepers.
understand.
So,
Oh yeah.
the fact that you're providing an opportunity for people to not only make a living, but help them keep exclusivity and the importance of their art where they want it to be. It sounds to me like what you're trying to do is give control back to the artist. And instead of going, you put all your stuff out there for free, and then maybe somebody at some big corporation somewhere will pay you a good amount of money to represent them with your art, because that's really all you're doing with a record
Yeah.
company,
Yeah.
and that kind of thing, a TV deal. Instead of that, it's like we're going to allow you the opportunity to be a wise business investor in your own product, control your own art, and bet on yourself, and have
Yeah.
absolute creative control, and be paid forever on it, unlike you getting a little bit of money and the record company's getting paid forever on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or you
That's the
just do it,
deals about
or
that,
you do it
right?
once and you only get paid once.
Right.
That sucks too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Being able to have that. Yeah, well, that's like you were saying. It's so true, man. Events are exhausting. Setting up an event, especially bringing in out of town talent, and the marketing, the
Bro,
promotion.
that's even next level above everything I said. Bringing in, and you're like when you start going into bringing in different countries' talents and all that. Yeah, it
Ooh,
keeps going, like the realm of it. But for the
task
most part, that's
force.
kind of, yeah. Seeing the artist like from street performer to high class performer, is like I seen all the realms, so I was able to like see who's suffering the most. The rich people, they're not suffering. They don't. This system's like most likely they just overlook it, and they're like, I got busy, I'm too busy for this shit. But what I'm working on this is what like I wish I had when I started. I wish like someone sat with me and talked to me about this and started it for me. But instead, I was the one who had to freaking figure this shit out, and then now I'm the one teaching others it versus.
That's good.
But at least the good thing is it feels like how I was like saying before, like, oh, there's Donovan, the single guy. I wasn't just like abandoning my friends and families, traveling the world. I was making a point to travel to learn this knowledge to protect all of us.
Well, and that's. I don't think you abandon anyone. You're protecting and building. You're actually
In a different
building
way,
something.
yeah, yeah. Like I'm
Well,
not there every day with them, but I gained the knowledge and ability to provide. Even if they don't participate with me, I'm still able to give a lot. Even though if they're like, oh no, I don't trust you because you're not the government. I'll be overabundant with my shit. So don't worry if I'm not the government or not. Still, here's some blessings.
that's very fair. Well, and that's the thing, man. And I think this is one of the reasons I just dig you so much. Is because you got to understand you're the guy in history. You know what I mean? The reason we know and have a map of the Earth is because of Magellan, right? And
Yeah,
the reason that America was discovered or lands were discovered was because of people who they weren't abandoning; they were going out exploring. They were making connections. There's a call deep inside some of us, and especially you, to go out there and connect with other people, and to explore. And we don't do that anymore. And I think we
yeah,
should. And
yeah.
it takes a lot of people can't. You just can't. You know what I mean? I understand some people are meant to really, bless their local communities. Your teachers and your volunteers
Mm.
and
Yeah.
health care workers, and
Yeah.
they're so needed in that community. We need them to stay. And it takes a special kind of person to kind of let all of that go and understand I'm going to put what would be a normal life on hold, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to battle all the things that internally we have to battle as men trying to do great things, but I'm
Mm.
also going to change the world's perception on how we can understand each other and communicate with each other. And that is cool as heck, man. That is cool as hell all day. I love it. So,
Yeah, using your phone as tools,
yeah.
not as we being the tool.
Yeah.
These corporations are getting us with their freaking marketing plots and freaking things.
You're the
I'm not like
tool.
perfect either. I'm not like a guru and shit. Like seriously, I'm just like fucking simple man. I just have experience and I don't give a fuck. Like,
Well, you got that explorer's heart. The same reason I had to get on
yeah,
a
in the
plane.
beginning I used to be like oh yeah, let's do this corporate thing and do that to impress the corporation. I was that way before. I used to really make my paperwork to cater to the corporation, and then yeah, it just dawned. I was like, fuck all of that, bro. The people I work with, the people I want to work with, they actually don't want to sign contracts. They rather have contracts be spoken and text messaged. That's how the contracts are created. That's the people I wanted. Like I've been mostly dealing with,
And that's you've always been good that way, man. I know when you said you were going to be somewhere in Hawaii, I know this firsthand, right? Literally. If you said you were going to be, and I remember, I'll never forget, man. And the memory and the feeling is coming back now of you always being there, always putting your heart and soul. You treated my gigs like your gigs. And we were a bunch of stoners telling dirty jokes in microphones, man. And you're
hey,
winning
all
awards,
fairness,
not
I
hokey
wasn't
awards.
smoking weed.
Yeah, well, we
I
all.
wasn't a stoner at that time. I wasn't smoking weed. I was getting wasted drunk.
Well, yeah, no, that was a good part. But yeah, man, you were winning awards and packing your own houses out and still coming to our silly gigs, man, and treating them, as important as your gigs and showing us that level of love. And that's
Community support.
and you mean it, you
It's
don't
definitely
just speak it,
community
you live
support.
it. Yeah, man, you
Yeah,
live it, and
yeah.
that's the cool part about that. And I'll leave you with this because I know it is getting late, man, and we got stuff. The last couple things I want to wrap with. One, what can we do as people, man? If you could wake up tomorrow and you could send a message out to the entire world where you're like, hey, folks, if we could figure out or just work on this, and this world would be a
Yeah.
better place, what would that be?
I would start with I have every day for me is like the best day ever in my life. And I never thought that would ever be possible. I thought I was just going to be a depressed guy with happy moments until I die. So for me to ever feel these feelings and these blessings, I wish everyone gets this. Like I want everybody to have this feeling of happiness in their life at least once. Because this place is so fucked up. So to find happiness in it, that's amazing. Not just happiness, but like blissful, hardworking happiness. Like if you'd ever had it before, when you wake up tomorrow, find out what that thing would make you super duper duper extremely happy, and then start doing it. And if you can't figure anything out, try doing something for someone else or the community or for kids. That would sparking the start triggering you being able to make your own decisions that makes you happy by doing it for others.
That's beautiful,
So that's where
man.
I can stop there.
That's beautiful, man. I love that. And what information about either any of your artists you want to mention? Anybody back in Hawaii you want to shout out? Anybody around you right now? Is there anybody we should be looking for on the horizon that we should
No,
go to their Facebooks or
everyone's
YouTubes
private.
or right now everything is there. Fair. That
They
is
can
fair.
find out at the concert we make, Mike.
Well, that is awesome. Yes,
We can share some of
absolutely.
that information on there. And but up and coming, I do like Lily Miola.
Lily Mill.
Lily Miola.
Oh,
Lily Meola. Miola.
Miola. Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
And what does Lily do?
So don't quit your daydream. It's your life that you're making. It ain't big enough if it doesn't scare the hell out of you. If it makes you nervous, it's probably worth it. Why save it for sleep when you could be living your daydream?
Keep it going. Keep it going. Give me a little more of that. Give me a little more of that. I'll
Bro,
freestyle this
I got
out.
like 1%.
Give me a little bit.
I got 1%. I'll start.
Give me 30 seconds, man, and I'll freestyle this out.
Thank you guys for coming to the show.
It's the end of the podcast. We had a blast. Donovan Yo, me name, homie, with my man, Sexual Chocolate. On the turntables, he gonna rock it. Never ever stop it. Pop and lock it. Doing it with love, cause we rockin'. I want to thank you, Donovan, for being on the podcast. We had a blast. Want to thank all of our homies. Chalk's to my right, and it's easy to see that next Thursday night, gonna be all right. Come sing karaoke with us. Never get enough. I love this stuff. Said I love this stuff. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Donovan, thank you so much, man. I will talk to you tomorrow offline. And I love you, brother. And thank you. Shout out to everybody out there that we love.
Nice to meet you.
See you later.
Bye, brother.
Aloha.
Aloha.